We're about to delve deeply into the nature of knowledge, one of the most mysterious aspects of the human experience. Have you ever stopped to consider the nature of knowledge? It goes far beyond knowing information or having it at one's disposal. Knowing is not something that can be explained intellectually. In this video, we will delve deep into the intriguing concept of knowing and how it relates to our consciousness. Prepare yourself for a journey of introspection and inquiry as we probe the depths of knowledge beyond simple concepts. So, what exactly is this knowing about which we are talking? A common definition of knowledge is the capacity to learn new facts or concepts. However, there is a more nuanced level that must be considered. The knowledge we're after here transcends head-based analysis. It is the underlying awareness that persists independently of our thoughts and comprehension. Imagine it as the invisible source of illumination that sheds light on anything and everything. To illustrate this point, think about the feeling you get whenever you're trying to learn more about a new concept or subject. We aren't just making an effort to comprehend. We are cognizant of the fact that we are doing so. This knowingness arises naturally and without any conscious effort on your part. It's almost like a natural reflection of our own awareness. There is still some part of oneself that is aware of the confusion, even as it occurs in the mind. An innate knowing that exists before conscious awareness or reasoning takes place. Now the question is, how can we connect with this dimension of knowing that is beyond thought? How can we know the consciousness that is always there, independent of our knowledge? This video will go into greater detail regarding these questions. Visualize a breathtaking sunset. The beauty of a sunset is one of those things you just know without having to put any effort into processing it. This sort of information is always around, even when our minds aren't actively processing anything. Let's compare and contrast what we think with what we actually know. You put your brain to work when you try to figure out a puzzle. While you are working to solve the mystery, there is something else that is aware of your participation. This knowledge is not the product of thought, rather, it is the foundation upon which thought is built. It's an unavoidable feature of human awareness. When we meditate and actively seek mental stillness, for instance, we are aiming to open ourselves to a realm of knowledge that lies beyond words. Consciousness flourishes in silence. It is not just the absence of thought. There is a knowing that allows us to perceive whatever thoughts may come to mind. Consider the fact that you're watching this video right now. No matter what is being said or shown on the screen, a part of you knows you are watching. This is the part of you that acts as a watchful observer, paying close attention to everything that goes on around you. These instances show that knowing is an inherent characteristic of consciousness and not dependent on intellectual processes like thinking and comprehending abstract ideas. One way to experience this is through meditation. If you close your eyes and pay attention to your breathing, you'll notice that there's something you know that's aware of the ease with which you're breathing. This insight is the channel through which you can communicate with your spiritual self. You feel like your spirit is looking at your body as it breathes. No need to consciously tell yourself, "I'm breathing." Be here now and listen to the stillness within, where all wisdom is stored. Now think about the next thought that comes to mind. It could be anything from a fleeting worry to a profound musing. When this occurs to you, take note of the part of yourself that is aware of the thought's presence. This insight goes beyond logic and has to do with who you truly are at your spiritual core. It's the part of you that watches your mind at work without adding to the chatter. It is possible to achieve a profound mental silence at times of meditation or reflection. This quiet space opens a doorway to your true self. It's more than just a mental blankness, it's a state of peaceful awareness. When you reach this level of calm, you open yourself up to the divine source of all being, where you can perceive the presence of the knowing that is beyond thought. Make an effort to maintain a state of complete and enlightened awareness throughout the day. Take stock of the sights and sounds around you and the way your body feels right now. As you do this, keep in mind that there is a part of you that is aware of what is happening on a deeper, more spiritual level. Your faith and devotion to the divine are the source of this insight. It's as if your spirit is at one with life itself, and you're observing this wondrous display of existence with all your senses. In our conventional state, many people primarily identify with their mind and thoughts. They take on the persona of their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. But there's a part of you that is conscious of these feelings and memories. The mind cannot contain this kind of knowing. When you come to see this for what it is, you can start to separate yourself from your mental processes and realize that you are more than your mental activity. In a similar vein, many people view their physical appearance as central to who they are. They might identify with their appearance and their internal experiences. But there's a part of you that knows your physical self and what it goes through. This state of awareness transcends time and space and is not dependent on the health of the physical body. You come to understand that while your body is a source of information, it is not the only source. This insight can help one become more at peace with bodily experiences and realize that the true self exists independently of the physical form. When you recognize this spiritual dimension of your identity, identification with the mind and body becomes less significant compared to your divine and eternal essence. Because we are vulnerable to shifts, constraints, and attachments when we identify with our minds and bodies, doing so can be a source of pain. A source of inner peace and freedom from suffering is discovered, however, when one goes beyond these identifications and connects with the true nature of the self. This is due to the fact that we know our true selves to be stable and tranquil. The true self is the conscious observer, the one who is aware of his or her own thoughts. When you accept this witnessing awareness as who you really are, you start to see that you are more than just your mental and physical processes. When you learn to develop a observer consciousness, you can look at your own thoughts without identifying with them. You can now choose how to respond to thoughts on an intentional level, giving you more independence from habitual ways of thinking. To truly know something, one must first detach from their ego, their traditional sense of self that is founded on mental and emotional identifications. Realization that the ego is an illusion sets in when you become aware of the knowing that is conscious of the ego. This allows you greater freedom from conditioned patterns of thought and behavior. Knowledge suggests the presence of a higher, more eternal self, also called the soul or the higher self. This sense of self is spiritually connected and exists outside of time and space. When you reach this level of awareness, you realize that your normal self is just an illusion. The true self is the witnessing awareness that exists outside of these labels. This doesn't discount the value of the rational and physical, but it does provide a more inclusive lens through which to examine one's sense of self and its expansion. This dismantling of fixed identities is central to many religious and philosophical tenets, and it can help one find inner calm, independence, and genuineness. In light of our newfound understanding of knowledge, pause for some introspection. I have a few questions for you so that, if you'd like and are comfortable doing so, you can do some independent research on this subject. To better internalize spiritual knowledge and apply it meaningfully on your journey of self-discovery, consider the following questions as a guide for reflection and exploration of the nature of knowing. Each introspection adds a vital piece to the puzzle of spiritual comprehension and living out that comprehension. 1. To what extent do you value knowledge? Understanding your relationship to the conscious observer requires some introspection on the significance of knowing in your life. You can bridge the gap between your everyday experience and a deeper understanding of consciousness by reflecting on what the nature of knowing represents for you. By clarifying what knowledge is, you can start to peel back the many layers of self-absorption that have kept you from seeing your true nature clearly. 2. How do you communicate with the mind that is observing? Asking yourself this question is crucial because it opens the door to introspective spiritual practices and a deeper bond with the observer consciousness. Peace, clarity, and a profound feeling of presence can all be gained through a connection with this spiritual aspect of oneself. It's a gentle nudge to remember that beyond your usual labels, there's a part of you that's always aware. 3. What does it mean to you to have a quiet mind? The ability to observe one's own state of consciousness is greatly enhanced when one's mind is at rest. Knowing what it means to be mentally at peace can help you see that mental turmoil isn't who you really are. You can break free from your anxious thoughts and into the inner calmness that has always been a part of you. 4. In what ways can you put this knowledge to use? The answer to this question is essential for the successful application of spiritual understanding. Thinking about how to use this knowledge in practical situations is what transforms thought into doing. As a result, you can make better decisions and experience less of the unhappiness that comes from identifying too strongly with your thoughts and feelings. 5. What difficulties do you face? Understanding the obstacles one may face in their pursuit of this type of knowledge is also crucial. The first step in overcoming challenges is realizing that you face them in the first place. This permits a more reflective approach and the development of methods for keeping in touch with the consciousness that is watching at all times, even when things look bleak. Regular exercise and introspection. As we wrap up this investigation, keep in mind that knowledge is not limited to the human brain. It's more than just an idea. It's a profoundly meaningful spiritual journey. It may hold the secret to your happiness, serenity, and true identity. You may now be wondering how you can use this knowledge in your own spiritual quest. Consistent practice is the key. Spend some time in quiet thought and contemplation and try to look at your life from a more enlightened perspective. You will find a wealth of inner wisdom that will lead you to self-actualization as you learn to tune into the knowing that transcends the mind and body. Keep in mind that this is an individual and personal quest, and that each discovery brings you closer to understanding who you truly are. Being, living, and appreciating the miraculousness of one's own existence are at the heart of spiritual knowledge. I appreciate your willingness to take this trip with me. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to our channel. Please forward this video to anyone who may benefit from its message. Don't be shy about expressing your opinions and insights by posting a comment below. I appreciate you taking the time to watch and participate. Please be safe, and I will see you soon.